Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. This morning I'm excited to meet Kaci and have her share about some family travel tips. So, Kaci, thanks for joining me this morning.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm always excited to chat with new people, and this is something that we have done for years. So,
Yeah, wonderful. So, why don't you share a little bit about maybe the last family trip you took and the ages your family was at that time and where you went and
sure. That my kids right now this year are 12 and 14. So the last time we went camping would have been last summer. So they were just getting into those teenage years where like screens are a challenge and those types of things. So it was really important for us to. So we go up to the White Mountains in New Hampshire, and it's just one of those things where it's nice for us to be able to connect. We choose a campground that's off grid. So we can't really be on the internet and those types of things. And it's sort of forced family time. Yeah.
I actually like that. And I'm very familiar with the White Mountains. I go there every fall. It's beautiful there.
Yeah. It's a really great, for us, it's drivable in just a few hours. So that's kind of nice, but it's a really great opportunity for those in the New England area to really get away and be pretty remote if that's your choice. You can on the southern part of the mountains, you can still be like close to shopping and other things, but if you want and you go on to the northern side, it's pretty remote actually.
So do you take like all your own food and what's that kind of look like, the packing and what to take?
Well, over the years, I've developed a packing list actually because we were forgetting things. And we started camping with the kids when they were toddlers. So there would be like more things that you needed when they were smaller, perhaps. But now we're a little more flexible. But yeah, we don't bring in everything we eat. We do plan out the days that we're going to be there and we bring in everything we need sort of for the campground. So we try to do breakfast at the campsite. Lunch usually is sort of like either at the campsite or on the fly. Like we'll make things that we can take with us. And then dinners sometimes are at the campsite and sometimes we'll eat out just for ease and like bringing a little bit less stuff. We're sort of heavy packers. We like to have a lot of stuff and be comfortable. So we're not like backpacking in, with all of our things. So
Yeah. So what are some of the activities? Do you now plan them as a group? Do you kind of, now that they're a little older, how do you kind of get them to sign on to doing this each summer?
it's a little bit of force. I'm not gonna lie. We're just like, we're doing this, everybody get with the program. And we usually will plan a few days where we're just there, whatever. We have some like rainy day activities. We've been going there for a long time. So we have some like, either the ranger station, you can go and like do things, or museums that we like that are drivable, the pancake house that we like to go to, those types of things. But as far as like hiking and biking, we usually we have like a running list of trails that we just kind of like, and we try to do different ones. All Trails is a great app. Like you can just hop on there and people are leaving current photos and current, like, this trail is muddy, or those types of that type of feedback. So that's really helpful. And we just kind of tell the kids like, we're going out for a hike today. I think when they were smaller, like one of my like biggest things that I think took me a while to get was when they're small, it's all about the micro. They really don't care about the view at the top, it's
Oh,
about the bugs and the leaves and the
yeah.
um, on the walk up. So it took us a while to get. I think now that they're getting a little older, they're beginning to appreciate the view at the top of some of the hikes. Um, so we take all of that into account and just like pick one, and we try not to overschedule. We do one hike a day, or and then one other sort of activity. And then we have just most recently in the last few years enjoyed spending more time like at the campsite. We enjoy the campground that we go to. We tend to choose a campsite that is near water.
Oh,
So when the
nice.
kids were little, it gave them water play area. It's
Right.
and they're building fairy houses and finding sticks and those types of things. And now that they're a little bit older, they still like to paddle in the water. You know what I mean? And it gives us something to do that's like natural, no tech, and creates conversation, you know?
Right, right. Oh, I love that too, because we have become so connected to our phones and our gadgets and kind of what's happening there. So to take time to disconnect.
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, it's hard, right? It's hard even as
Yeah.
adults,
Yeah, that's what I
you're not
mean.
Yeah, like my husband and I run a business, a couple of businesses from home. And so to be disconnected can be kind of challenging, but it's, I think, important for us as human beings to have that space, that mental space. And we can drive into town and get, Wi-Fi once a day. We'll just pop in and make sure that there's nothing pressing. If you don't want to do that, certainly that's an option, but um, so I think too for the kids, like they're all into now at this age, it's like
Yeah.
social media and all these other things. So it's nice to just get back to a place where like we're dirty for 4 days and like we're just eating regular food and keeping things simple and
Right, right. So do you have some tips for other families that are trying to maybe plan something, or if they have small children, how to go about, because sometimes people worry about it, is it safe, or how to plan it, or for, single parents, it can be a challenge, I imagine.
Yeah, so for us, when they were smaller, some of the things that we did to sort of just keep them engaged, keep them entertained, I had like running lists that were like scavenger hunt, and so they could pop in. We could get them to do like, hey, go find this type of leaf, this type of stick. Those kinds of small activities are really fun. We also, as far as like keeping them entertained around the campsite, like I said, we go by water. We always bring a deck of cards, some
Mm.
games or two that pack really small. My son's really into Pokemon, so you can play Pokemon. It's pretty small to pack. And just stuff like that, like kind of listening to what they're into during the time. Like we always bring a camping hammock that we
Oh,
can put
okay.
up somewhere just around. My kids love to read, so they bring books and stuff, and they'll just like lay in the hammocks and chill out in the afternoon and read. Or I do that too.
No, that's great. Yeah. So that's nice too that you guys are setting as parents the example of like we're bringing books and we're not bringing our device to read. That's really smart. Um, what are some of the meals that you pack, or do you take into? I mean, nowadays a lot of people have dietary concerns and that type of thing. So maybe speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, we also have some dietary concerns in our family. I'm gluten free. My daughter had a fair amount of allergies when she was younger. So we tend to bring a lot of specialty items with us, which is part of the reason we pack so much. Um, and over the years, I've just kind of developed, I have like 5 or 6 recipes that will like work on a camping stove. Like we usually bring a pop-up little grill that doesn't take up a ton of
Nice.
space in the thing, one pot, everyone gets a coffee
Yeah.
mug, that type of stuff. Um, and so we'll do for breakfast, we do simple things like instant oatmeal. Occasionally, if I'm really feeling, frisky, I'll make pancake mix ahead of time. And if you
Um.
freeze it in a Ziploc bag, you can just cut the corner and make pancakes. That's
Oh
always fun.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can, it doesn't take a ton of like extra, you got to figure out some way to put syrup, but in the White Mountains, you can buy syrup everywhere.
Yeah. Right.
Like real
Yeah.
good syrup.
Really good syrup. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll do that. And things like for lunches, we often do like sandwiches or things that are pretty easy. And then dinners, we will do those like foil packet meals sometimes where you
Mm,
sort of put everything into one thing and fold it up and just
yeah.
put it. Those you can even do on the fire, over like the campfire. And then as far as like snacks and stuff through the day, it just sort of depends on your age range, right? Um, we always have fresh fruits. We always have cut vegetables everywhere we go. And, we usually get that stuff there. We take the like dry goods and then we do one grocery shop when we get there. But we also bring a lot of energy dense stuff. So like beef sticks or energy bars. Sometimes I'll make that stuff at home, but I now like I have clean versions that I will just grab, So if you have a dietary restriction, it works for you. And we will bring 2 or 3 grocery bags worth of that type of stuff with us just so we have stuff to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This area sounds really amazing. So besides the camping, are there like cabins in the area if people wanted to do cabins or
Yeah, there's different campsites look different. So there is everything from a family style campground where you have tent sites, RV sites, and cabins typically are at the family style ones. And they often have like a game room area. Some of them have pools and different kind of bigger things, we tend to go more towards, and those cost a little bit more. We
Right.
tend to go more towards the state campgrounds, which are very bare bones. Our favorite one just got a shower a couple of years ago, which
Oh,
is like
okay. Yeah.
a big deal. And so we tend to go towards those. They're very cheap, but there's not a lot there because they're just run by the state. But they're usually really interestingly set. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just
Yeah.
scenic typically and that type of stuff. So, and we've had success with both. We've done both of those things, and it just really depends on what your budget is and what your interests are. Like at the family style ones, they often have like events at night and
Oh, that's right. Right.
that type of stuff. So,
Are there websites that are more specific to like campsites? Because like with the state sites, is it the state website you'd have to go in and reserve early? Because I'm sure some
I'm
weekends they book up.
yeah, I would go. So I don't know where to, I don't search usually for the family ones. For the most part, we go to the state one, and there is, they have an app. And typically, I'm trying to think of what it's called. I'm forgetting the name right now, but I'll get it for
Yeah,
you. So you
yeah, we can put it in the
can,
notes, right?
yeah, because you can reserve them ahead of time. You're right. Oftentimes they do fill early, like on holiday weekends.
Yeah.
But like our favorite campground just this year, when they switched over to that app, they now have sites that are not reservable, so that there's always
Oh.
something that's first come, first serve, no matter what you do. Unfortunately, our favorite sites are now first come, first serve.
Oh, oh
We
no.
can't get our favorite sites anymore. We're having to adjust and be flexible.
Well, yeah, that's true. Because it is sometimes nice to know ahead of time, like we've got the site, we know we're going on this
Right.
particular days instead of like, oh, are we going to get it? Are we not? Are we going to have to drive to another place or
We
something?
we have done that, and it is not fun. That's not the way that I like to camp. Like
No.
certainly, you can do that, but with the amount of time it takes for a family of four to pack the truck, pack
Yes.
all of our gear, get it all in there, and then drive 3.5 hours to the place that we like to go. Like, I don't want to be looking around for a
No,
campsite.
I wouldn't either. That is a little
Yeah.
bit of a downside, yeah. But
Yeah,
I
because
bet,
we take a lot of stuff. So, you know what I mean? Like, we're not bare bones camping. Like we have a rather large tent, and over the years we've gained more stuff, just to make it a little easier. So
right, and you want to be comfortable too. I mean, there's being outside, and then there's like after a while, we can't all sleep on the ground anymore.
right, right. That's not my scene these days. When the kids were little, we definitely had a much smaller tent. We slept on the ground and all of that. Now we're sort of in a bigger family style tent with cots. So we have a little bit of, then the cots actually, just as a tip, like something I didn't think of before we purchased them, is that it then gives you space underneath the cot to store
Oh,
all your bags with your
yeah,
all of those
right.
things. So then there's room to move about in the tent. So if it's raining outside and you're just sitting in your tent for hours on end, because you don't
Right.
have anything to do right now, there's a space there.
Right, right. That is
Yeah.
smart. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good tip. Yeah, and we'll link the websites. I know the state of New Hampshire has a pretty nice website too where people can go on. You can order like a free guide and a free map.
Yeah.
So if you're not from the New Hampshire area, and I love New Hampshire. I think there's a lot of beauty there. You
Yeah,
go in
we
both
have, so
seasons.
the place that we normally camp is sort of up at the top and all the way over to one side of the White Mountains, but the Franconia area
Yeah.
is a bit more built up, but it's very scenic. It's very easy to get to. And we've camped there many times, and it's been wonderful. And it's near our favorite pancake house. So we love that.
Yeah. Is that Polly's?
Yeah, Polly's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Polly's, you gotta give a shout out to. It's like
Yeah.
it
It's the best. It's the best.
no, it really is. It's like that
Yeah.
maple bacon. It's like get
Oh,
it in my head, and then it's
so
like
good.
every fall I have to get over there and get there early because the buses come in. It's like
Yeah, it just does fill up, but you can call, if just another tip for Polly's, you can call ahead and get in the line. So often, like our campsite where we usually stay is like an hour away. So we will call when we're leaving, and that way that hour is spent
oh, that's
like,
smart.
on the
Yeah.
wait list. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That is a
Yeah.
great tip. Well, why don't you tell everyone, Casey, how they can reach you? I know you do some health things too as well.
Yeah, I'm also a health and wellness coach. I typically focus on gut health. I'm on Instagram at Kaci and Co Wellness. I'm sort of everywhere. I'm on sometimes on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Pinterest. I do have a website, CaciandCoWellness.com. So you can find me there. And I'm just sort of all around. I mean, I love talking about just being outdoors and keeping those kids active. I think it's just so important to start them young on moving your body and getting outdoors and the grounding and all of the things that happen. It's like it's getting in, even though they think I'm foolish and I don't know anything. It's like percolating
Right.
under there somewhere. So
Yeah, that I think is so true for so many of us. I mean, so much has gone to computers and, being out in nature, I just think is so valuable and
yeah,
something that a lot of people kind of, even as adults, strayed away from. And it can just do so much by getting outside in nature. So do you have a favorite time of year that you'd like to go, or is it generally always the summer?
we usually go in the summer and the fall, depending. My kids also do a sleepaway camp. So they're now that they're a little older, they're away for a period of time in the summer. So it's a little bit more tricky for us to get up there. So the last couple of years, we've gone less than we normally would, but it's still there. And we'll get back to it once they kind of age out of the camp that they're doing now. But their camp, just as another aside, like is also outside. There's no technology, there's nothing for them for a month of the summer. So it's like we're still kind of getting that value, even though we're not with them in the same way as we would when we camp.
Right, right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
for people listening to, New Hampshire is just an incredible place to go. So like
totally.
Casey said, I mean, there's forests, there's mountains, there's waterfalls, there's mountain biking and trails. I think it's just a
Yeah.
really little bit of a hidden gem. And the closest airports, I think from Boston, it'd probably be about maybe 3 hours, three hours on a good day,
Yeah,
I suppose.
depending on where you want to go in New Hampshire, for sure. There are loads of like trail maps and books and things that would get you. Like we often look for waterfalls. Like it's one of the
Oh,
things you can
yes.
just search for on the thing because it gives you something, it's an interesting
Right,
good stuff.
exactly. Yeah.
And there's tons of that stuff up there. There's lakes, there's, mountains, there's all the things. So
Yeah. Well, thanks so much again for joining me today, Casey, and check out your website again.
yeah, CaciandCoWellness.com. And feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'm happy to share any of my knowledge.
Sounds great. Thank you.